So, hello people. I perceive that many people have a hard time identifying the keys in a piece of music. This can happen in many different levels. So, the idea here is to bring everyone to the basic level. This has many times with knowledge about modulation to do. So, people get lost in the relationship between different keys with each other in the proper musical context. And normally the exercise of music theory in a basic level, they are still too obvious to identify the key a little bit excluded situations where modulation are happening. Anyways, here we have a simple example, but also showing some case of modulation, and we will enjoy also observing the geniality of Scarlatti. So I will play a little bit. I have a very bad situation to play music here, so I am like, so don't expect the best technique. So here is absolutely obvious. We are in C minor, so you have the leading tone of the melodic scale, the A natural of the melodic scale, that will happen almost exclusively in the dominant. So 50 degree if you want. So here is G major as a dominant. I can write this D like this. I am still thinking about how to do this without being ambiguous. So this is confusing, but I think the best way is like this. So we don't have this thing of melodic scale everywhere. We have the melodic scale in this. Okay, this is the common situation of the melodic scale. For example, if you are in F minor, you use the natural and not the melodic. Let me bring the keyboard here to you. So the melodic scale will not be the case here over this chord. So actually it has with harmony and chords to do. So don't be fixed about the scale. This is a mistake that I see in many beginners. So the key here is that this example shows how everything is about understanding the chord, and then you know in which key you are. Basically, we have two functions here. So the tonic and the dominant. Okay. This is what I find amazing about this example. So this is the first part. The first part is full tonic, and the most important observation is that it comes from tonic to dominant. So where it starts, where it ends. Okay, it looks simple, no? But it's interesting that it took some years to observe things in a more simple manner. Um, and principally, when we are learning this, we start over complexifying things that are actually not so complex yet. So these are the important relationships. And to identify the key, you have to keep them in mind, principally in more complex pieces of music. So this is why I want to give you the basic mental structure here today in this very introductory lesson in musical analysis and harmony. So now the next part. Oops. Hello. So then the next part it's still more simple. Now we have the dominant, and it's hard to tell how I love this. Um, I would like to analyze this music in very different levels, more complex levels as well. So then dominant, so we can consider this from dominant to tonic. So I think this is a question of interpretation here. So this section ends in the tonic here if you consider just the tones, but I would consider the effect of this pedal tone there. So I think the most correct is the dominant. Principally in a very functional thinking, the bass line is not the most important. So this is not a bass line. Okay? So important is the impression in your ear of this G here. So the whole section is from dominant to dominant. And in between, we have again dominant tonic. Okay. So the alternation of dominant and tonic can also be called pendel. I don't know if I'm speaking English or German here. Pendel. So it goes back and forward in the same thing. So then it comes up back to tonic, but now it's interesting thing. This is the chord of the tonic here, the main key of the piece, but he's modulating. So after we have the F sharp, it is clear. It is clear that he is going to G minor. So this T minor here is a subdominant of G minor. And it is very important to have a notion of the harmonic felt, as we call in Brazilian. So in C minor, oops. So in C minor, you should have this in your head. People, guitarists, they have this very good. Then comes back. So natural it would be like this. It helps to have the natural structure, and then from there you understand which are the exceptions. So this is oftentimes so, and this is oftentimes the B natural. I can write natural here, so I write in German ha. Okay, so these are the exceptions. Now the chord written on 6th scale degree natural, so of A, would be this, the melodic scale, but not so. I would not bother with this for a very simple reason. When you are able to use this chord in the melodic scale, you know a lot of other things. Okay, so just keep the basic natural structure in your head. Hello. So keep the basic natural structure in your head for different keys. This will be very decisive to understand the chords and identify them. So G minor, then you follow the same structure like this in another key. it is very, very important to memorize this, and you memorize this by doing all the scales and chords of piano exercise. And so on. Straightforward, like this. So then we are in G minor. This is actually the subdominant in G minor. And how do you know that is a C minor? Now you need a little bit of knowledge that I can give to you. So in two parts, counterpoint, the sixth will always imply a triad somehow. Okay? And you can you can determine the chord by asking the question, can be this understood as one of the chords of the main functions, so the tonic, subdominant, and dominant? Yes. This is why this is not an A flat, okay? And or also not this chord, also not this chord. So the very basic primary, the subdominant function is enough to harmonize this. This is why I label this chord as a subdominant, as the C minor in G minor. Of course, it is missing a key change. Then key change we write in so per extenso, so the whole word. I don't have space here. So I think this is enough. G minor. So and then C minor here. So he starts on the subdominant, and this is the chord that calls the cadence. So you have here a clear statement of the leading tone of G minor. So these are the tones of the dominant of G minor. So 7th, the 7th is descending, so it's the proper treatment of the dominant 7th, the 7th of the dominant. So here's the cadence, but it's not an ending. So it's just from the harmonic point of view, we have a very clear cadence: subdominant, dominant, and then tonic. But it's not an ending. So suddenly it got complicated, no? Because of the two-part counterpoint. I get, but in this case, you just try to resume which are the key moments, which are the must be moments if you would add a chord to it. Okay, so this is not so important as this, for example. So here we can speak about this diminished triad, or this one. But this is still not so important as the key moment, where the dominant, for example, is here clear stated. This is already too ambiguous for us. It could be like this, dominant, or like this, subdominant. You can consider this as tones from the sixth ajouté chord. Then you have this this sixth here from the sixth ajouté chord. Okay. But we want to understand the key moments, not the ambiguous moments. However, we want to know which are the ambiguous moments as well. We just don't have to determine them the whole time and to discuss them the whole time. This depends on goal. Now, then tonic. So we have the harmonic progression of a cadence, but it's not a cadence. Important is to understand that we are in a new key. Let me change the color. And this goes until the end. So, let me see if I did some mistake. Yes, we are in a new key, but this color is more about the the function, the overall function in the new key. So not the function of the chord, but the overall function. So here we start in the dominant of the new key. Okay, new key, G minor. This dominant is not the same as this here. Dominant, tonic, or relative concepts. So then now let's see when it ends. As that. So this is dominant until here. And then it goes tonic. New tonic. Now we could do way more complex with the colors, but the dominant of the new key I find very important. So let's do a different color for the dominant of the new key. And blue is the new tonic. So this is crucial to understand the difference between the functions of the chords and the functions of the keys. So when Schoenberg speaks about an answer in the dominant form, he's speaking about this red line here. So we have a statement in the tonic form and then an answer in the dominant form. Okay, with more precision, you can state that the statement is in the minor key of the main key, the main key of the piece, C minor, and it is a statement from tonic to dominant inside of the main key. And still inside of the main key, you have an answer that is in the dominant form. Okay, inside of the main key. And then you have a second part that will be the answer to the thematic exposition, and the function of this part is to bring the music to its other side. So it ends on the dominant, and now you can have the ritornelle bringing you back to the tonic. Very important to understand the sonata form, and it is very symmetric. So now to count this whole part here, like a statement in the dominant form, It's a little bit exaggerated, but it is true. There is no resolution here. So the whole function here is to bring to the tonic. So this is why this whole statement here is dominant. And these are the relationships you have to understand in order to determine the keys in more complex pieces of music as well. We can resume. Let's see if this works. Okay, I will not do this because it might confuse. The key takeaway is to have these levels of of functionality. So yeah. I like red for the dominant. So you have the tonic key and the dominant key. And this correspond to the A and B of this first section of the music. So this is still the A section of the music. Okay. You can call it the, to not confuse, but you can call it the precedent and the consequent. Here I'm not speaking about this concept in the sense of the I'm not speaking about the classical period building of Haydn and Mozart, okay? I'm speaking about having a statement and answering on a statement in a very broad terms. It's way more important. So this is our whole A section. Is this page here? Now, this is in the level of the key, but we have also the level of the phrasing by the way, I did a mistake. So I will call this theme exposition. We can also call it development or ending group. It's hard to tell because a very short section of music. This could be the theme of sonata in Beethoven. I don't know. So I will call it the answer of the theme. It is still in the relationship of antecedent, consequent. But what I want is to call this the antecedent because of the harmonic structure, and it's a more specific level. So and dominant, consequent. Here, so this part of the music where we are still in C minor. Okay, we are in C minor until here, and this is the exposition of the theme. Okay, let's put here. Perhaps it's easy to understand. So this is another level. And what I wanted to understand the hierarchy between these levels and the play of force among them. So this is what will will help you in analysis and in composition. Here, the phrasing, it's not like an answer and question answer. Let's see. It's very crazy. It is a very long phrase. The main concept here is long phrase to the end. There is no other way to put it in a resumed form. And you have to understand that this long phrase starts with figuration, so it's a new element. I don't want to go into deep analysis. I want to stay a little bit more in the harmony and the basic level, and to come back in a more deep analysis of Scarlatti. But the interesting thing here is that it brings a totally new element, okay? And then he comes back with a kind of rhyme and numeration of the main motive of the music. So this creates a very good sense of conclusion and of cohesion and of musical rhetoric. But for us, it is enough to keep the eye in this very common pattern of proportions. So we have two parts and one long part. So one part here, then an answer, then this is a whole, and now we have a new whole, and this new whole, it's basically about a long phrase. This is what I wanted to understand. This creates the tension necessary to bring the music to the end, to bring the music to a pleasant end in this section, the end of the section, or the end of the music. So a long phrase, they bring more tension, more where I'm going, and this is what is happening here. And to get this aspect of a long phrase, it is key to start in another function and to go nowhere, to hold until you go to the tonic later on. And this is the new tonic. Okay, so we are in G minor. I could draw better for you to understand this is the new tonic in G minor. So, but this is a very old conflict between drawing on the score and having a kind of graphics here outside of the score. I like to keep the eyes on the score. So long phrase to the end, then conclusion. We call it Schlussgruppe. In German, I have to see what they really want to mean with Schlussgruppe. So it is a group, a conclusive group, but it's a kind of complex situation. I would prefer to call this a conclusion, not a cadence, but the cadence is a very important part of the conclusion. So it's a very conclusive part. Actually, this conclusion consists in one perfect cadence in G minor, and again the statement of G minor for the second time in a stronger way. So this whole event is very important. Not only perfect cadence, okay? So I think this is the key takeaway. So repeated cadence on tonic. This is a very important difference between cadence of small parts and cadence for a more important section, or even of the whole music. It's very important to keep the eye on this, because it will help you end music and improvisation better. You have to repeat the cadence on the tonic after you came from another key. Speaking in didactic terms, because music is always kind of not so simple, everything can happen. And art is about this, no? But teaching is about simplifying as well. So I hope you are happy with my explanation. You can send this one to me on Patreon, and I give a feedback for only €3. So support me on Patreon or book a lesson with me. You will learn way more, because I will make you work, and I relate these topics with the things that you are composing, the exercise that you are doing. I will analyze music that you already play on piano, for you don't have the trouble to have to read everything. So it's more close to you, and many other cool things. This one I think I will keep for free on YouTube, because I'm in a good mood. But let's see, not everything will be always for free and available. Principally the folder with my exercise, okay, and material. that could be just copied by some copycats. So then I keep private. So thanks for watching and see you later. Remember to give a like and subscribe. You don't have to pay to give a like as well. Ciao.